For years, I walked around carrying the weight of the anger and the pain from my chaotic and alcoholic past. And so today, we're going to talk about the 3 steps that I took to finally be able to put that stuff down. Let's get into it. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to Raven's Passage. My name is Linda, and I help people heal from the pain of addiction by sharing my journey in recovery. All right, guys, so before we get into those 3 things, I do want to give you a little bit of background about me. My dad was an abusive alcoholic who repeated basically what he was taught as a kid. And when he wasn't drinking, he was this really funny guy. My mom was this beautiful, loving woman who did the best that she could to raise 5 kids basically on her own most of the time. My childhood growing up was everything and anything except for stable and consistent. And so we would have our own place for a period of time. Eventually, we would either find ourselves living with family members, motels, shelters. There was times where we slept in our car that I remember when I was younger. Eventually we would, at some point, it feels like every 6 months to a year or so, and that's probably just my perception of time, but it felt like we were getting on a Greyhound bus and heading somewhere where it was always going to be different or better this time. Regardless of what roof we were under, there was always alcohol, drugs, anger, violence, fear, and chaos. Throughout my childhood up until my adult life, there was definitely periods of, different forms of abuse. I was always surrounded by adults that provided me with everything that I needed. And unfortunately, it was never anything good for me. And that included my dad. And so he taught me how to smoke and drink with him at 7. When I was 8, I was running drugs to make money to help my mom take care of my 4 siblings and I. And so my dad was never a constant figure in our life, and he would always come and go. From 10 to 16, I had attempted suicide multiple times. I was hospitalized twice. At 13, the state removed me from my mom's care and put me in a foster home for a year. When I was 14, my drinking and drug use was so out of control, as well as I was out of control. And so she put me in rehab for about, I think it was a month. Of course, I don't have to tell you that it didn't stick. At 16, I quit school. I would soon after meet my former husband. We would have my oldest son when I was 17 and my youngest son when I was 21. And then we would be together for 21 years. We wanted so desperately to raise our kids in a better environment than what we were raised in. And we really wanted to be these responsible adults. And unfortunately, we did the best that, or I should say, I don't know exactly which way you want to put that, but you're going to find that I struggle with the English language. And I'm absolutely okay with that. We were damaged kids. We did the best that we could with what we had to work with. So 2013, my former husband and I would split up. Within a couple months, I was dating a guy who would help my drinking progress faster than I even seen it coming. And within 2 years, I am going to be begging every single night to not wake up the next morning. And I'm actually going to get into that in my next video. So, definitely check that out. From the time that I was 16 until about 37, I had played a part in putting my family in some really unhealthy situations. There were definitely numerous times where my selfish decisions hurt the ones that I loved. By the time I'm 37, my addiction is showing up in so many ways, and not just in my using, but also in my decision making. So the life skills that I was taught as a kid were absolutely vital for me to survive in this world, not just from as a kid, but all the way up to an adult. I would not wish my childhood on anyone by any stretch of the means. But for me, I will tell you that if I did not go through the stuff that I did and learn the stuff that I did, I definitely would have made it out of a lot of situations, and as a kid, as an adult, and not just dangerous stuff, but just basic survival. situations. As crazy as it sounds, I am really, really grateful for the skills that my dad taught me when I was a kid. Unfortunately, those skills are not going to keep me sober today. As well as I don't live in that life anymore and I'm not that same person. So therefore, I don't need survival skills today. I need to know how to live in this life without picking up something to get through it, go through it, numb through it, forget about it, whatever. So that's what we're going to get into right now. We're going to get into the 3 things, the 3 steps that I've taken to be able to let go of that weight that I was carrying from my alcoholic and chaotic past. Number 1, discover. Traumatic events are often the catalyst for significant pain. At least for me, it is. So I would suppress that pain by drinking and drugging. And once I got sober, of course, that pain returned. So I learned that the way to get through that was to discover the cause of that pain. And once I learned that life-saving information, which for me, it definitely is life-saving information. Once I learned what that cause was, I was then able to use healthy coping mechanisms. 2, uncover. So once the cause was discovered of what triggered my addiction, I was then able to express and process that pain in a healthy way. And I did that in 2 ways. So for me, talking about my stress, my anxiety, my depression, that trauma and that pain in a therapeutic environment was definitely helpful for me. The other thing that I did was I did a 12-step inventory with someone else in recovery for them to, be able to uncover the patterns of my behavior that were contributing to me picking up was life-saving. The best part of that is that I was then able to see my part in all of that. What that did is it helped me to stop the insanity of my addiction. And number 3, discard. So once the cause was discovered, the solution to that was uncovered, I still had a little bit more work to do. I sat down with another person in recovery and shared my stories with them. And in doing that, I was able to discard the ideas and the attitudes from my past. And I was able to release all of that pain and that anger and, that weight that I was carrying. And in return, the person in recovery that I was talking to was sharing their stories with me. And so they were sharing their experience and their strength and their hope with me. What I've learned, in this time that I've been in recovery is that when you get 2 people together in recovery and they talk and they share their honest truth with you, we both walk away with a solution that works for the both of us. The really cool thing about that is I then get to pass that on to someone else. And so I get to listen to someone else who is struggling. And then I can say, if it's a similar situation, yeah, I know, I get that. I know what this feels like. And this is what I did. And this is how I got through it. And this is how I feel now. And it's amazing to be able to not just release and discard all of that yuck and muck that I've been carrying for so long, but then to be able to sit and watch someone else be able to do that same thing. That is such a gift. I can't even tell you. Ooh, emotions. That is such a gift. Like giving and receiving. It's such a gift. And I'm going to tell you guys, you're going to see me do this, throughout videos. And I did not cry. You did not see me doing this kind of stuff in front of people. I didn't. I was taught you don't do that. I was taught that you don't show vulnerability. You just don't do any of that. When you see me cry today, depending on what I'm talking about, it could be pain. It could be remembering it and, but a lot of the time it's tears of gratitude because I know how good it feels to not be that person in that life anymore. It's, so yeah, I get a little freaking mushy marshmallowy. So by being honest and sharing my stories and my truth and my feelings with another person in recovery, and being able to, have them share their stuff back with me, I've been able to process, heal, and move on from all of that stuff, all that weight that I was carrying for so many years. So, we go back to the discovering the cause of why I picked up and uncovering the patterns of why I did that and learning how to not do that, learning different ways to get through things without having to suppress them and being able to get through them in a healthy way. And discarding all of that, like giving that all to someone who understands, is incredibly freeing for me today. I walked around for years, basically wearing like cement shoes. You know what I mean? Like, and mind you, I come from Jersey and, that area. So when you hear cement shoes, people's ears perk up. But I didn't put any on anybody. I just wore them most of my life. So, it's a lot of weight to walk around in those. To be able to break all of that up and look back, and be like, yep, that's what I walked in and that's where it lays and this is where I'm going. Eyes forward, one step at a time. So, there you have it. 3 steps that I took to let go of all of that weight that I was carrying for so long. What do you think? What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments below. What are you feeling about this? What are you thinking? I would absolutely love to hear from you. I am all about interaction and connection and learning from others, and you will absolutely see me down in those comments responding to each and every single one. And if you did enjoy this video, if you could please show the like button some love, some love on that like button, I would absolutely appreciate it. And doing that, it also will help it get around YouTube some more. And I know there's definitely more people out there that will benefit from hanging out with us. So I would absolutely appreciate if you do that. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And most importantly, I want you to remember that you are worthy, you are loved, and you are enough. Until next time, my lovelies, we will talk again soon. Huge hugs. Bye.